Hello everybody. Today I'm here to talk to you about the topic of public shaming in American society and discuss whether it is necessary. It is a topic that is quite controversial, especially when the media becomes involved, particularly social media. I am joined by one of my friends and fellow student athletes, Matt, to discuss this rather controversial topic. I am sure that you have all heard of the Monica Lewinsky and her scandal with former President of the United States, Bill Clinton. John Oliver, who is a comedian, talks about the misdirected consequences of public shaming in his interview with her. He states, "Point is, we live in a golden age of public shaming, and you have probably participated in it. It has become so easy to publicly shame individuals in today's society with the rapid spread of information across the world via the internet within seconds." In a recent survey that was done by YouGov, they found that over half of the United States adults, 55%, believe that public shaming is okay when someone has been convicted of a crime. I am here to show you that there are other alternatives to public shaming that are proven to be more effective without damaging the person's mental health.
So Lex, just get to it. What is your opinion on this often debated question?
I personally believe that after doing extensive research on this topic from reputable sources, that public shaming is unnecessary and does more harm than good when it comes down to it.
What attitudes, beliefs, and values might your peers hold about public shaming that will inform your argument?
Well, consider that my fellow peers are about my age and are students attending SDSU. We are all a part of the same generation and grew up with technology and social media. In the interview between Monica Lewinsky and John Oliver, Monica says, "I do think there is a spectrum of behavior on which we can sort of judge as a society where shaming is considered to be effective to change social behavior, or is it damaging? I am certain that every one of my fellow peers knows of someone who has been publicly shamed and saw the effect that it had on them." With respect to their beliefs, some might disagree with me and think that public shaming is necessary in our society. However, I am here to provide some reasons why it is not.
Alright, well, what makes you credible on this topic in order to speak about it?
I grew up in the iGen generation. Our lives are greatly influenced by technology and social media. I personally see public shaming almost on a daily basis, whether it be a close friend who I see getting bullied for a tweet, or a famous celebrity who has said something controversial and is receiving public backlash. I have weighed the pros and cons of both sides of this issue. Ultimately, public shaming is not necessary in today's society. I believe that there is an alternative to public shaming that can be done that is less harmful and will have more benefits. In a recent Atlantic article, "Have Smartphones Destroyed a Generation?" psychologist Jean Twenge wrote, "Rates of teen depression and suicide have skyrocketed since 2011. She continues, "Teens who spend 3 hours a day or more on electronic devices are 35% more likely to have a risk factor for suicide, such as making a suicide plan." This is one of the consequences that public shaming has on our current generation and is damaging the mental health of American society. A different action needs to be taken instead of public shaming.
What is your reasoning and evidence behind your view that public shaming is unnecessary in present-day American society?
To begin, I read a blog post in an online magazine titled, "Why Shaming Doesn't Work. The Wounds of Shame Can Be Deep and Enduring." In the blog post, it says, "When shame is internalized and becomes persuasive and enduring, a person can be at risk for developing unhealthy conditions such as depression or social anxiety disorder, the fear of being scrutinized, and the avoidance of social events that evoke such fear. Depression and social anxiety disorder are among the most prevalent psychological disorders and are associated with higher risk of developing additional psychological problems. The fact that public shaming can cause these mental health problems is ultimately terrifying. I agree that public shaming can lead to mental disorders and problems because it has become so prevalent in our daily society." In another blog post on the same website, Psychology Today, another writer states, "In other words, being the victim of a public shaming incident has the potential to ruin your life, financially, emotionally, and physically. In the most extreme cases of online harassment, we have seen the worst case repercussions over and over again. Young people taking their own lives and adults losing their livelihoods. Public shaming causes negative mental health outcomes that is unnecessary and is causing more harm than good to American society.
What are some effective alternatives to public shaming?
There are alternatives to public shaming that would be more effective and would still have an impact. In an article published on JSTOR titled "The Danger of Public Shaming in the Internet Age," the article states, "The only decent way to respond without making oneself more loathsome than the original offender is to take him aside privately and offer a gentle suggestion." Social media diminishes both the discomfort of seeing our victim suffering and the shame of being seen making him suffer, both of which require personal proximity to experience. This alternative way would offer a more positive outcome rather than humiliating and publicly shaming the person who made the mistake.
Do you have any closing thoughts regarding public shaming you would like to share?
Public shaming is a relevant issue in American society, especially recently with the rapid growth of both technology and social media. We need to use these tools for good instead of using them to exploit and shame others for their mistakes. There are more positive, uplifting, alternative social responses that will still produce the same outcome, which is correction of the behavior and fewer scandals. Public shaming is something that has become more widespread with the popularity of social media, and everyone wants to jump on the bandwagon once something blows up. However, things are often blown out of proportion and appear to be a larger deal than intended, and may ultimately ruin the life of the person who is being publicly shamed. We often forget that they are people too and have lives that are similar to ours. We as an American society need to come together and stop public shaming of our fellow peers.